just
Tell
hearing
it,
it so
yeah.
much, but I think I
Now, why
remember
not?
that. I remember
Well,
carrying
Mother
it
said I liked it,
it's
and I just,
going.
you know,
So you
doing
just-
good with it.
saw how distressed you
Yeah,
was.
just
push that when
She always
Yeah, but
worried
as long as
me
that red
like
light's
in
on,
the
we're
background
okay.
smoking.
If you want to go tighter or wider, you can,
That
but
I would, you know.
Yeah.
trip on that.
I think that I remember that. Like, so much of that stuff you heard so much you think you remember it and don't.
Yeah, I know.
I think I remember.
Okay, y'all can look at me probably. You ready?
Sure.
Won't take
Ready
long
as,
with it.
ready as we'll
this
ever
is-
be, I guess.
Won't take long, but I can't stand it.
I can't
Okay.
either.
We'll start with your older sister, I guess.
Absolutely.
Tell us your name and what your mother and father's name is.
My name, Ellen Elizabeth Ray Davis Loudon Sullivan.
Okay.
And my mother, Maggie Alice Whitaker Ray. Daddy, Johnny William Lafayette Ray.
Okay.
And what else? My birthday?
When were you born and where?
I was born in Davis Fisher Sanitarium in Atlanta, 14th of April, 1924.
Okay. Is that at Crawford Long Hospital now, or
Mhm.
for a while? Same place. Okay. And your brother here, you want to introduce him for us?
Joseph Whitaker Ray. Whit.
All right. Joe or Joseph, when were you born?
I was born September the 9th, 1928.
Joe?
What? September the 10th, 1928. Yeah. It was the 9th month, I guess, is where I got that.
So 1928.
Yeah.
And where were you born?
I told somebody else that this morning, I think. I was born at 4 years and 5 months, like in 4 days later, when she was born at the same hospital. But I think they called it Davis Fisher Hospital then instead of Sanatorium or whatever.
I thought it was Crawford Long.
And that's since changed to Crawford W. Long, and I think they refer to it now as Crawford Hospital. I don't know if they dropped the Long or not.
What can you tell me? I'll ask you to tell me about your mother and father.
Well, they were both Gilmer Countyans, and my father was raised down on the south end of the county at the little community they call Talona. And my mother was born up on the north end of the county in the Boardtown area, but that was more, she spoke more of Briar Creek.
White Path, too.
White Path and Briar Creek, and there used to be a big hotel up at White Path, and that was where they had all their social gatherings, I guess, on Saturday nights and whenever, I don't know. But that's what that was their entertainment. I've heard Mother speak of that lots of times.
And she was a Whitaker?
Yeah, she was a Whitaker. Maggie Alice Whitaker. And married Johnny William Ray. They married about 1922, I believe.
September 17th.
Yeah, 1922.
Mother, what do you remember about your mother?
The same one.
Oh, I know. I mean, but tell me about her.
Well, she was a school teacher for many, many years. But once she got married, she never did work anymore. Never did teach school anymore. And,
They lived on River Street, right?
yes. Well, they lived on Mimosa Hill when they first got married. 3-story house and a basement. Just the two of them until I was born. And then they built that house down on River Street in 26, I guess.
1926.
Mm-hmm. And,
She used to fix lunches for kids, didn't she? People that would.
well, Benny
Yes,
Whitaker and
Cecil.
Rubley,
Yeah.
two people that my friend and Joseph's friend and cousin, and we'd all go home for lunch.
Yeah. And there were boarders in the back?
Yeah, she had little cottages that she rented.
That was, yeah. She fixed food for them, son?
Mm-mm.
No?
We didn't have any boarders to speak of.
Well, in the
We had-
summer, she had summer school teachers for 6 weeks that
Yeah.
came there for summer school, and she boarded them, 8, and they had 2 to the bed and 2 beds in each bedroom. There was 8 summer school teachers. Then we all slept in the back bedroom, Mother and Daddy and Joseph and me, during that summer school time.
Well, did the boarders stay in the house or in the
Mhm.
cottages?
No, in the house.
House, oh, okay.
But this was just during
During
the
summer.
summer
6-week
months,
summer school.
Well, Joseph, you have more?
Well, she closed off the dining room, pulled the shades down, closed off the dining room, and did all that cooking. And then when they'd come in to eat, that dining room was just as cool as it could be.
Joseph, tell us about your father. What did he do for a living?
Well, he worked for the first that I recall him working. He worked for C.B. Kelly, which was a wholesale distributor, and they had a big warehouse over at where the depot is now. And that's where Daddy worked out of, and he traveled in one of these panel trucks, and he took like the old Frito-Lays and people like that do now, except he had more variety. It wasn't just potato chips and things like that, everything. Cigarettes, not much canned goods because they didn't have much canned goods back then, you know.
Coffee and candy,
Coffee
lots
and
of
candy and cigarettes, about the extent of it. And I remember, I believe it was about 1937 that Daddy and C.B. Kelly and some of them went to the World's Fair in Chicago. And that was a highlight for my dad. He never had been, well, he'd been a lot of places, but he went up there with his boss man. But it wasn't long after that that C.B. went under. And this was long touching in about the time the Depression was getting going good. So he went completely out of business, and when he went out of business, and Daddy was out of a job. And there was a period of time there that was pretty thin, but he was only out, I think, a couple of months, as I recall, may have been longer than that. And he went to work for a fellow by the name of Hudson up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, Raymond Hudson, and worked for him for a year or 2 years maybe, and this Raymond Hudson, who was his boss, helped him to get on with the Rugger and Potter Company in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And that's where he worked there until he was killed in an automobile accident on December the 20th, 1938. And back when he was a young man, he did a lot of traveling. He went out west and spent time out in Texas, Grandview, Texas, I believe.
Mineral wells, too.
Mineral wells, maybe. And then he went on out to Eugene, Oregon, and I can't recall. I remember Eugene, Oregon, because I remember a postcard that he'd written Mother this back before they got married. That was from Eugene, Oregon, and I remember a postcard from Grandview, Texas, which is down south of Fort Worth, Dallas. But he did a pretty good bit of traveling before he got married, and to what
I think
extent,
they had
I
a
don't know.
8-year break in there, and then they just picked up where they left off and kept going.
I think I'd heard that. Daddy was running in the west, and Mother's holding down the east, I guess.
Well, there was somebody that, what was his name? Harvey, down at Dessie's.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to marry Mother so bad, and she told Dessie she was waiting for Johnny. Harvey Smith.
Harvey Smith, that's right. And then what was that guy's name that she was afraid of?
Me? Oh, her?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Hobbs.
Huh?
Hobbs.
Yeah,
Leonard Hobbs.
Linder Hobbs.
He's from down in here somewhere. wasn't he?
Cochran, I think.
Cochran, Omega, somewhere down here. He used to want to go with Mother. We just got one side of the story now. He used to want to go with Mother, and he was down in the tournament, he was going with her, and mother wouldn't have anything to do with him. And it seemed to me that he not threatened her, or said he'd kill himself or something. I don't remember.
Mm.
Do you remember anything about that?
No.
I don't remember enough about it to talk about it.
That was before she ever got married?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I mean, she didn't date after she became a widow.
Never,
No.
never. And we wouldn't have liked it if she had.
No.
I wouldn't.
Well, if he had a good car. I wanted a car so bad I didn't know what to do.
Mother was pretty wise to get rid and not have a car.
She's very wise. I
Yeah.
thought about that a lot.
Yeah.
Thought about it a lot.
Keep you out of trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Now, when you grew up, you ended up going in the Air Force?
Yeah, I went in the Air Force on 3rd day of September 1947. I went to San Antonio. Well, I was sworn in at Fort Benning, Georgia,
Mhm.
and I shipped out of there and rode a troop train from Fort Benning to Lackland Air Force Base, and that's where I took my basic training. And then out of basic training, I went to technical school at Lowry Field, Colorado, at Denver. And my grandmother died while I was stationed there, and she'd lived with us for the last 10 or 12 years of her life, maybe longer than that, I don't remember. Her mother took care of her. But anyway, I came back home on emergency leave. That was my first leave back after I went in the service. And Ellen met me in Atlanta on the train, I believe, and then we went from Atlanta to Ewart, Montgomery, I think. And we went from Atlanta to LJ to the funeral. Then after that, you want some more?
Just tell me the locations of where all you were stationed.
Well, we left
Or most of them.
my first regular duty station was 77th Fighter Squadron at Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina. That's Sumter, South Carolina. And I stayed there just a short period of time, and I kept trying to volunteer to go overseas, and I'd get on an assignment and they'd pull me off of it. And the Berlin airlift was going full blast, and they sent in all kind of troops over there, and I wanted to go so bad I could taste it. And I'd get on a shipment and they'd pull me off of it, so I sat down and wrote Senator Russell a letter and told him that what had happened to me, and I'd been trying to go overseas, and I had a strong desire to go overseas, felt like I could serve over there, blah, blah, blah. And I showed it to my adjutant and first sergeant, who was pulling me off of the list every time I'd get on there, and told him I'd send it to Senator Russell. And that's all it took. And they saw I meant business and I was going to write somebody, then the next one that come up, I got on it. I went to Germany. Was in support of the Berlin airlift. Stayed in Germany three years, 3.5.
Extended, I think.
Yeah, well, got extended because of Harry Truman, because of Korea. Harry Truman put a 1-year extension on everybody. But my discharge wasn't coming up anyway, so it wasn't affecting me. Or I'd already re-enlisted, I don't remember now what it was. But anyway, I stayed in Germany, and I came back from Germany and went to Williamsfield, Arizona, and stayed there just a short period of time, and went to Korea. And from Korea, went to Japan. In Japan, I came back to the States and went to, I don't remember where I went when I come back. Oh, down at Turner, Albany. Turner Air Force Base. And I left Turner and went back to Europe. And stayed in Germany 6 months and volunteered to get out of there and went to Turkey. Went up on the Black Sea, it was about right up on the border of Russia and Turkey. And that was a 1-year tour, and I came back from there and went to Montgomery.